Against my better judgment, today we are showing how to do a knuckle on a 2013 Ford Focus SE. Well, against my better judgment, because there's so many Ford Focus repair videos out there. And even for this topic, I'm not going to say that mine is one of the best. The only difference is I'm doing mine street side. So in case you do have to tackle this anywhere in your neighborhood, where trucks are driving by, this is how you can do it. It's nice to have a shop. There's definitely a couple of guys, I believe somewhere in the Baltics, that have written the book on how to make a Ford Focus indestructible. They've changed everything you can imagine. I think their career is focused around how to chop, repair, and just create the best Focuses around. I have a little meek SE. We're going to be going over the knuckle. You're going to need a bunch of tools for this, but not as many as you think. We're going to be jacking the car up, get a jack stand. You're going to need a big beefy socket. I was talking 32 mil to take off the axle nut. We're going to need 19 mil for the actual wheel, 18 mil, 17 mil, 14, 15. So get all your sockets, get a pry bar, get some chisels, get some gloves, get some glasses, and some patience. And let's see how we can do this nice and easy wherever you are, whichever neighborhood you're in. I'm doing this on the streets of Brooklyn. No reason you can't do this wherever you're at. Let's get into it. All right, first thing, we're going to want to get our wheel off. That's a 19 mil. Get your 19 mil on there. Break the nut before you get the car up in the air. Alrighty, I'm gonna get the breaker bar. Okay, so I'm just gonna break the nuts free before I get her up into the air. Boom. Oh, if you can ever get a socketing wrench for your breaker bar, great. You do lose a little bit of the power capacity on it, but it is so nice because if I didn't want to just break free, but I want to also keep cranking, I could. For that, I got this Titan head. Me and a buddy were trying to do work on his car and we broke the original head on this bar. And I got this as a replacement. I had a video about how to replace it, nothing too hard. All right, we got all the nuts broken free. Now we're gonna take and jack her up. Pretty cut and dry stuff. We're using hydraulic jack. There's some jack underneath the pinch weld. Consider where you're going to be putting your jack stand after you have her up in the air. Boom. Make sure to have the emergency brake up. Make sure to have her in gear. You don't need to go high. I don't know why I'm going this high. I just feel like getting the Ford high. All right, there we go. Afterwards, I'm just gonna lower on the jack stand. We're gonna leave the jack there also just as a little extra assurance. I'm not going underneath the car, but this is just to keep things safe as can be. Gonna be a dad soon, so gotta keep myself extra safe. Or at least that's the excuse we'll be using today. Boom. 1, 2, 3. Don't need an impactor at this point, but just does make quick work of it. Easy peasy. Boom. Tire off. Now we have ourselves a work seat. All right. And this is the patient. You got a close-up of the patient. We're going to be removing everything to get at the knuckle. Knuckle is this big, beefy metal piece here. The wheel speed sensor goes into it. Your brake caliper, the little dust shield you have in the back. So we're going to be taking this guy off. We're going to be disconnecting, well, actually breaking free the axle. And that's a 32 millimeter big beefy boy. We're going to be taking off the tire rod. That is right here. And we'll even be disconnecting it from the control arm, which you see peeking out down here. Let's get ready. And we'll see how the axle nut is feeling. Nice. Power tools for the win. Tool angler. I love this thing. When I spent like $300 on my DeWalt Impactor, because I wanted a nice heavy duty impactor that could take care of anything. And then this guy comes out for under $100 and is delivering over 1,000 foot-pounds of torque, of nut-busting power, which it does. Now's a good time to make sure we don't have any other issues developing. Make sure all our bushings are whole. We don't have any grease leaking out. Anything else that could be causing any problems. Besides being rusty and crusty, I don't see anything else that is shouting into my face that it wants to be a problem. All right, so I want to take out the cotter pin. Generally easier to do this with pliers, but I'm impatient. No gloves, no pliers. Let's get her done. All right, we're gonna have the castle nut because I don't know if you ever play chess, you know what it's talking about. You know why they call it the castle nut. It looks like the castle figure on the chessboard. This guy you're gonna break free. Here you're gonna punch on the knuckle to break out the tire rod. We're gonna get on to removing the caliper. When removing the caliper, little tip. Try to turn your wheel all the way to the left, being the driver's side. This is going to open up, give you a little bit more space here in the wheel well, especially if you're doing a street side. This is great. Impactor's upside down. I'll get tugger. Here we go. Oh, love this thing. Honestly, this is not a commercial. Boom. So that's going to be an 18 mil for your caliper. When you take it out, try to have a bungee ready. So when the caliper comes out with the brake pads, you don't want that hanging on your brake hose. Brake hoses are not as fragile, in my opinion, as we have been made to believe. Over the decades, I've learned this due to trial and error and being who I am. But either way, try to string it up. I just got a bungee. I'm gonna go old school and do the old-fashioned bungee way. Now, boom. When you do take your caliper off, also just check out the brake pads and check out the rotor. The front of the rotor, the back of the rotor have even wear. And that's just something we always want to keep an eye on in case we're having any issues. If your brakes are wearing unevenly, that's something you would be able to see on the rotor and on the brake pads, especially at this time when you're doing this job. That's probably due to your guide pins being not lubricated, and if they can't be sliding in and out of your caliper easily, so can your brake pads, and they're going to be adding some uneven pressure. Once you got that off, your rotor will just come right off. Boom. All right, next, the shield. Control arm in the bottom. There's a pinch knuckle right here, and also the knuckle up top where it pinches around the shock. We're going to want to be taking all those off. And also there's a little Torx bit for the speed wheel sensor. We're just going to disconnect it. That's what we have right here. You have a little clip, you press that down. Get a better view for that. So you're also going to have the speed wheel sensor. I'm going to just want to disconnect this guy early. Once upon a time when I did this job, I ended up cracking him. Right here, if you press down on this tab, you can slide the sensor out. That's our sensor. We're going to snake our sensor up and worry. There he goes. We do want to take this guy out because we're going to actually put the actual speed wheel sensor into the new knuckle. All right, next we have some 10 millimeter bolts. So when I say some, I mean 3. That's going to be for this little dust shield. So we're going to take him off because we're going to be reusing him. We're going to take out the speed wheel sensor, and it looks like the teeth on the Torx are a little worn out, but ideally we're looking at a T25. Boom, boom. Hey, buddy. Thank you very much. Appreciate you not making that a battle. It's enjoyed living there. Last time I did this job, I actually got a little careless. As I mentioned, I did end up breaking this guy. So this time I think I'm overcompensating, but better safe than sorry, right? Come on, I see you wanting to. All right, he's wiggling. Speed sensor is out of the way. Try not to lose anything, me. I get to have these little pep talks. There we go. So you see this little knob. Let's get a better image. So castle nut is still on here. I just left it on because I don't want to drop the whole tie rod out. See this little knob that sticks off of your knuckle? Comes out. That is exactly meant to be knocking on. If I was going to be changing a tire rod, I could have got a separator in here. I got one of those from an old job. But here, just start thrashing. Try not to hit the grease pinning there. Okay, now on the bottom of the knuckle, you want to release this pinch joint. That's going to be a T55. In case it is a little bit tougher than you want to be doing, so you can just get a wrench on the end of it like such. And there we go. Now, you will need to secure it from the other side, because even if you break it free, the other side, the nut will spin free. All right, so on the other side, you're going to have a 18 millimeter. So if we can secure that, get your Torx on there. Our knuckle out of our control arm. I'm going to try this approach. Getting a pry bar and a hanger. Now the bracket is definitely getting a whooping. I did move it. In the video I saw this song, the woman did have the car up on a lift. She has an exhaust hanger too, to be fair. Now let's see if all my glorious weight can do anything. There we go. There we go, we got it out. It leaves only one last part. The pinch knuckle right here, holding our knuckle onto our shock. And once we get that off, that's it. Gonna take out that tie rod even a little further, because when it drops, I don't want it to go resting all its weight on my tie rod. Good God, everything rusts so much. Gotta love the Northeast. Can't say I'm too surprised there. We had our 3/4 inch plumber's pipe here. Our stand-in breaker bar. Wouldn't you know it, it's rusted! I am just so surprised. And it's so rusted, you try to take it out and so the socket comes off. Alright, easy little trick for that. If you ever have it stuck right like this, you can just get something smaller. I'm going to be just using the 1/4 inch extension I have, and I'm just going to punch it on something hard. Like that. Boom. Alrighty. Working on cars in the Northeast. Gotta love it. Ooh, yeah, it's rusted. Alright, now we just want to make sure we got everything else off. We already broke free the big old axle nut. Ooh, the 32 millimeter beefy boy. The axle, we're going to pop it out. Now, like I mentioned, we're going to be doing the axle also. Okay. And put the caliper off to the side. And now the only thing that's left is we got to get the knuckle off. Make sure nothing else is connected to it. It isn't. Bad knuckle. Bad. Don't be shy. You can just bash on the knuckle, trying to force it down. It seems to be quite comfortable there. And of course, when I'm rotating it, I'm rotating also the shock. And the shock is the brake bracket. So I don't want to be rotating it like crazy. Oh yeah, you can hear it ringing in my ears. So taking the actual knuckle off the shock has been facing to be quite difficult. I've been trying to pry this guy off, but every chisel I bash in there punches out as soon as I put a little force on it. So I'm trying a different approach. I got that same bolt that was running through the top. Only one side of the knuckle is threaded, the right side, the one that's closer to the cabin. I just put a piece of metal, a solid piece of metal, put it through the threaded side. So now as it screws in, it's pushing this side out. So we'll see if this gives it a little relief while I beat on it, because I've been beating on it quite viciously, and it doesn't want to budge in any way. Okay. All right, I mean, it's moving. I'm not going to say it's moving a lot. Okay. Crank it in a little bit more. And we're moving more now. And when it drops, it's going to just all the way, it's going to come down, so try and brace for that. All right, there it is. And that was also how we spread it in the back. I already expanded all the joints. See if we can just fit everything a little bit easier into there. You're going to have on the shock one tooth in the back. The shock may have rotated when you took off the knuckle. So just try to get it as centered as you can. I just want to line it up. I'm going to feel it pop in. And then We can get a jack on the bottom of the control arm and just start to apply pressure to get it in. And there we go. It's on the shaft. All right. When you do line it up, first of all, make sure that you get the pinch joint on the control arm. Afterwards, I spaced it out a little bit so I could squeeze it on the new knuckle onto the shock. On the shock, you will have this little bit of a bar, a stopper in the back, along with the tooth. The tooth sticks down, and you will have a gap right in the shock. So you want to get that tooth right in the middle as much as you can. I put a jack underneath the control arm, and I'm slowly just jacked it up. And eventually, when it seeds, the tooth is going to fall in the middle where the gap of the knuckle is. And the little metal piece that is already kind of welded onto the shock is going to stop it from going any further. Okay, and that's it. That's as far as it's going to go. So now we're going to back this guy out. This metal bracket guy, it's seen some things, but the plan did work brilliantly. On your capsule nut, feed it on, and then on a 16 mil. Snug it up. You want to make sure that where you have the hole for the cotter pin falls in between the teeth. Our speed wheel sensor. There. Now that's left to put the rotor on, put on the brake caliper and the axle nut. After we have our axle nut secured, we want to put on our dust shield. The dust shield goes on with those 3 10mm bolts. You want to get those on and tighten down. Afterwards, we have to put on our rotor. Rotor goes right onto the studs. Afterwards is going to go the caliper. Now the rotor is going to be floating there. So a nice little trick, if you want to just hold it in place, put on a couple of the lug nuts, tighten them down, and that's going to keep the rotor from dancing around while you're installing the caliper. When you do install the caliper, put it into place, line up the bracket on it, and you're just going to install the 2 bolts on the back side of it. Tighten them down, and then that's all that's left. Put on your tire, drop your car, test out your work, and congratulations, you changed the knuckle on your 2013 Ford Focus.